the one going up top, so they kind of make FlyQuest waste one ban on the Olaf, and that was leading me to believe it, so it makes a lot of sense. GP is also banned away by FlyQuest in the first round, so AD Kennen gonna be the answer here, I think, for Flame. We have not really seen it do well, I have to say, in the LCS. People have not really been able to make it pay off too well. There is the possibility of it being AP for more of the team fighting prowess, but then you're not going to really kind of have that dominance in the 1v1. And
you're never going to kill an Ornn with AP Kennen.
Unless you get way ahead.
Mid lane locked in for FlyQuest. They decide to grab the Emperor of Shurima for Keane.
This is interesting. I mean, they do have a powerful team fight. If you want to... This is beard zooms. If you want to go for AP Kennen, you do have a very nasty team fight. I mean, Ashe and Azir provide a lot of scaling, a lot of team fight damage. And you have the Tahm, Kench, Sejuani as your front line, kind of trying to keep you safe as well. And then Kennen does provide a lot of threat onto these targets, right? Yes, there is that Ornn, but there's a lot of squishy members. There's 4 squishy members, so I think it is justifiable to think about going AP and looking for a team fight. Because I don't think that an AD Kennen is going to be... This is Zilean support, so they're doing some crazy stuff here.
It's not just one bamboozle, it's 2 from Cloud9. They pick the Zilean and say, yeah, Jensen loves Zilean. They pick the Camille and be like, boy, Licorice has done some great stuff. Let's put him on a carry. Psych. Double psych.
I think this is really smart, right? Because when Keane sees that it's supposed to be a Jensen Zilean, he's like, great, we're going to farm. I'm going to play as Azir and scale up and be a monster in team fights. And Jensen says, nope, that's going to be a LeBlanc. I'm taking Ignite. I'm going to kill you in lane. They do have, a bit of a weaker 2v2 in the bottom lane because of Zilean. Zilean is not really a lane-dominant support. It's something, though, that you can get through lane with against Tahm Kench, and then have a lot of utility, a lot of power in the later stages, in the mid-game, and in those team fights. So a really clever draft here from C9. A lot of mix-ups, a lot of kind of trickery going on. We'll see if FlyQuest, with their very standard composition, can kind of withstand the onslaught and really take over.
Remember, this one is for a shortcut straight into the semifinals, that playoff bye. Team Liquid already secured themselves the first one of those, and you'll only get to have 2 of them total throughout a split. So these 2 teams would love to stand right next to Liquid, have that ticket towards the second round of the playoffs, and prove that they deserve it up against... I honestly love these types of matchups the most, Azael, because this is the time. It's not like you have to beat somebody else to say, oh yeah, I deserve this spot more than you now. It's you versus me. One of us deserves the spot, and the head-to-head decides it.
Yeah, I mean, you really can't ask for more. The bye, the last game of the split, coming down to these 2 teams facing off of against each other, and that's win or go home.
Running out onto the rift, the line of scrimmage being drawn by both sides. Everybody just chilling out. Having a good time.
This is going to be a really scary mid lane for Keane, because not only are you against an Ignite LeBlanc here, which has a lot of solo kill pressure, the gank potential from Camille early on is very, very big. If you get stunned into a chain or chained into a stun, you are going to die. So that is really, really scary for Keane. He's going to have to play very well around that, as Jensen has been a monster.
Level 2 Camille gank is kind of like back when Jarvan was popular, the level 2 Jarvan gank meme, where it's just like, oh,
go mid.
Yep, Jarvan gets red, Jarvan goes somewhere else. You don't need anything else to gank with Jarvan because that's what you do. We'll see if Blaber can pull that off, but one thing I do want to point out, phase rush on Flame. Normally, if it's AD Kennen, you see one of the more press the attack, combat type of keystones, so the phase rush is leading me to believe we might see that AP.
Yeah, it's definitely still up in the air. I do agree that if you're going for a pure split push, you want to go oftentimes for press the attack and those sorts of things to be able to kind of get that 1v1 damage. But I have seen some AD Kennens going for phase rush simply to play it very aggressively and kite back and forth. If you try to actually jump forward onto this Kennen, he procs phase rush, he can kite you out and then chase you down with the auto attack. So there is a possibility that it still could be AD, but I think, as I talked about in draft, AP would make a lot of sense here as well. It's 4 squishy targets on this team. If you can get in the middle of all those guys and you have so much damage coming out from that AoE, give the time for Ashe and Azir to really get that damage out to follow it up. I think that's pretty strong.
Plus, it's a great answer to something like Zilean, who excels at protecting against single target burst. But if 4 people are being shredded at the exact same time,
can't ult the whole team.
Yeah, then Zeyzal has to make the impossible choice of, okay, who do I save? Which carry? Or me? Do I want to be selfish? What do I want to do? Bottom side, Sneaky and Zeyzal will keep JayJ and Turtle pushed up here.
Yeah, so one of the things that Zilean can really do, despite the fact that he's not a strong laner, he has very good foot, right? So you can actually just throw down a bomb on each minion wave, hit all of those minions, and then you have the bouncing grenade, you have the W for that kind of line shot through a lot of the minions, and Jhin can then shove in and push very, very effectively.
I guess that's the nice part about playing against Tahm Kench. Yes, he can save people, and yes, he provides a lot of global ability later on, but during the lane, he's kind of a free pass for you to pick what you want into him, just because it's pretty hard to just get absolutely dumpstered by Tahm Kench.
Santorin
lane, it's Santorin looking to make the play onto Jensen, who tries to get himself away, now looking to maybe turn things back around. Blaber looking to go deep, find the kill onto Keane, and first blood over to Cloud9.
The turnaround from Cloud9, Jensen kiting down to Blaber, and Blaber hits the hookshot flash. The ignite was down, and Keane gets popped. What a turnaround there.
Both summoners used by Keane as well. You can't ask for much more for Cloud9.
Yeah, you really can't. That was just beautiful stuff from them. It was a good attempt, honestly. It looked like it could have worked out there as Santorin on this Acer Predator replay is going to Q flash in, connects with Jensen. That was all very nice, but Jensen creates the maximum amount of distance. Blaber shows up, he lands his full combo, and then hookshot flash right in on top of him. No summoners available, and no way out for the Azir.
Good stuff coming out from this Camille jungle, which is one of those picks that needs to get going. This isn't something that you can build a Cinder Hulk, a boot, and 4 tank items on.
You could, but you would be trolling.
You would be absolutely trolling. You would get 9 times reported. You might get 10 times reported if you were feeling just really annoyed with yourself. But he's going to be going for the Warrior. You can see it in his inventory right now, likely towards the Trinity Force after that. And when you go for these aggressive builds, you got to get on the board early. This is exactly what Cloud9 wants to see.
Yeah, it really is going to feel very, very good for him. And you can look to get in the face of the Sejuani. You can look to continue to be very proactive with those ganks. And now it's a scary, scary world out there for Keane. You can see he's down in the farm. He's going to have to be non-stop worried about any potential re-ganks or even a solo kill. Blaber is spotted. This is really good.
Santorin walked through that brush. He was just about to walk out of it, right as soon as he sees Blaber. Decides to keep himself hidden there as Turtle gets hit by 1 bomb, but not quite the second. Santorin still hanging around this bottom side just in case pressure is coming, and it will be there in just a moment.
No, he's here there now.
Blaber shows up. Both junglers will be here. They're aware of each other's presence. Jensen also thinking about that bottom lane, but Cloud9 decides not to do anything super audacious just yet.
But this is perfect. That's all you need to do. Jensen goes missing. Blaber is there. Well, WildTurtle, sorry, bud, you don't get to farm, right? You have to give up all of this CS. And look at the CS advantage. That is monumental this early on. 45 CS to 25. That is an insane advantage in the 2v2. And a lot of that is their own fantastic laning, but it's also the implied pressure that they could get dove.
And look at the buy comparisons.
Oh, God.
BF sword, first shot for Sneaky. Yep, A-OK, fantastic stuff.
Yep.
Exactly what you want to see on AD carry. Turtle's got a butter knife and a boot.
Yeah, that's rough.
It's not quite as good. Not quite as good as the BF sword. We'll see how well he can hang on there, as we do see towards that middle lane. Santorin trying to move in, steal a few resources from that enemy jungle, go for the chicken camp. If the enemy jungler's camping out in your territory, best way to avoid him, just go to his.
Yeah, I think this is a smart play from Santorin. It's kind of loss mitigation. You're trying to get whatever you can anywhere, and Sejuani does have good AoE clear. That is harder for Blaber before he has a Tiamat or something like that to actually deal with those chickens. And up on the top side, we still are no closer to knowing if it's AD or AP, but the steal there, not sure if it did come in. Looks like Blaber got it, but I'm not positive. Yeah,
Blaber
nicely
got the
done.
smite down there. Crab control, the most important thing when you're jungling in 2018. You got to control those scuttle crabs.
Fight for the crabs, and Blaber's just going to continue the invade because he knows he is really strong right now. He's camping out and looking for a potential dive here even. Jensen is 6. They could try to go for this. They're pushing it in Sneaky, and they're going to look for a 4-man dive. 5-man dive.
Has the range here. We'll see how well this goes through. Blaber tries to jump over the wall, maybe going after Santorin. Doesn't land the hook shot. Means they're not going to find anything with that one. FlyQuest does have to back up. Ooh, Cloud9, you're getting spicy.
The whole goon squad showing up for Keane. Everyone coming through. But he does a good job. He backs off. He kind of anticipates it. Doesn't even have to blow a summoner. But there wasn't much loss there from Cloud9 because they had wave control on either side. And those are just smart plays to make, smart plays to look for, and doesn't really end up having much of a cost besides maybe a couple minions. So, well played on both sides.
Keane doesn't have the flash available still. Got to remember that one, as Cloud9 does look to make those plays on him. It'll be about another 30 seconds before that's back up. Of course, you can say the same thing for Jensen, but he's got some tools with double distortions and passive clones to get himself out of trouble if he finds himself there. While topside, Licorice is hanging out in the brush here. Will be seen there by the ward from Flame, who is going for the AP.
Yep, it's going to be Proto Belt, and this makes it so easy to itemize on the top side of the map for Licorice. You basically expect to never die now. All right, look at everyone who could come up to you. Oh, Tahm Kench is going to roam, magic damage. Sejuani's going to gank you, magic damage. Azir, magic damage. Kennen, magic damage. So easy to itemize. He'll rush an Abyssal. You could even go Abyssal into Adaptive, and you're essentially worry-free for a very long time. And that's going to put a lot of the onus on WildTurtle to be able to punch through this guy in a team fight. But it does make sense, I think, if you get to that 5v5. Oh, they're going in.
Blaber decides it's time to make the dive, but Flame's able to outplay it. And Blaber shot down by the turret. Good stuff from the FlyQuest top laner.
Blaber just in way too early there, and Flame gets the outplay. You need Licorice tanking that turret. You do not want to be that as that squishy warrior Camille. Flame turns it around, and he has the red buff now, so says thank you very much. We'll take control of the lane.
Laning against Kennen isn't very fun. One of the few things that's less fun in the top lane than laning against Kennen is red buff Kennen.
Yeah.
Licorice has his work cut out for him there in the top side now, and FlyQuest have to be ecstatic about the way that one turned out. Cloud9, though, still about 1,000 gold ahead. Let's take another look at how this play went wrong.
Yeah, here it is one more time. I like the idea, but he is flashing so far in. The hookshot did not land after that hookshot flash, so he hookshot flash, miss, ult in, and they're now going for a play here behind him.
Bottom side, it's Sneaky, who's going to be taken down rather rapidly. Zeyzal decides to drop the ultimate, so we'll see if that's enough to save him. But Sneaky says, nope, I need these minions. I know I'm going to die anyway. Might as well do it with a pocket full of money. Turtle grabs the kill onto him, and that is his first for the game.
Yeah, really good stuff from FlyQuest across the map. That is an ultimate you love to see from Tahm Kench. The aggressive play. Ashe arrow goes out as Tahm Kench is ulting in behind you with Santorin there, and despite the Zilean ultimate, there was really no way for Sneaky to get out of there, so I like that he holds on to the summoners. I like that he just tries to clear out that minion wave, and that is smart stuff, but good job from FlyQuest getting Turtle back into the game. So now he has the kill, now he gets to pick up some of those minions, and despite still being down a lot in farm, the gold won't be too different.
And even though Sneaky died there, that farm has made it so when he died, went back to base, he did pick up the Stormrazor for himself, and this is Hail of Blades jhin. So the Stormrazor plus Hail of Blades proc actually just gives him an asinine amount of damage.
Yeah, it is
90 damage or something like that.
It is very, very scary with all that bonus damage coming out. You can see Jensen, though, having a great time in the mid lane here against Keane. He's up heavily in farm. Bottom lane is up heavily in farm. Jungle is up in farm. So that is where C9's edges have kind of come from. Flame, the lone member who really is ahead, thanks to that kind of botched dive and a well-played turnaround from him. And he's going to be terrifying in a team fight. You know, you let him get to a quick completed item, they can look to force fights.
Keane in some trouble here mid. He did have to go for the rush onto Mercury Treads as well, just for the extra magic resistance, CC duration, and just trying to avoid some of Jensen's ability to close the distance.
Yeah, I mean, the magic resist, you can try to dodge some of those skill shots, but also you have to worry about the fact that Chains can lock you up, and Camille coming can be locking you up there too. The root from Sneaky, there's so much CC, so I think the Merc Treads, while very defensive, is a pretty good option, and Jensen's just going to try to continue pressuring. This isn't the matchup Keane thought he would have. He thought he was going to farm it out against Zilean. Instead, he's being heavily pressured here by Jensen on this LeBlanc.
And I want to applaud Cloud9 for that as well, because I want to go back to what we were talking about in game number 1 with NA on red side messes up frequently because they don't take advantage of counterpick. They don't take advantage of the fact that you get to see the entire enemy composition before you make that choice of what's going to be your last champion. And Cloud9 doing the bait and switch on 2 different roles in this draft is exactly what I want to see.
It really is. It's very, very clever drafting from Reaper here, so he definitely deserves a lot of credit. I think kind of outthought a lot of us here, including myself. Wasn't sure exactly where everything is going to go.
I was bamboozled.
You know, the flex picks were very nice. You know, I did kind of expect the Camille flex pick, but wasn't expecting the Zilean to then go support, as Jensen has shown it mid so many times.
Santorin with a good dash over the wall there to keep himself safe, but that does mean yielding crab control. Blaber will pick that one up for the side of Cloud9. No focus towards this Drake yet. We haven't really seen anybody looking to mess around with that mountain being the first one that spawns. It's not that useful early on in the game. Bottom side, we'll see if Turtle and JayJ want to set up another kind of a play anytime soon. With those ultimates back available, they can always call for some help down here and see if they can make that work out. Santorin is hanging around as well, but with Blaber in the area, you've got to be careful on forcing what could be a 3v3 with your opponents having an extra life.
Yeah, that is risky. C9 looking to set up here around mid lane. Not going to pull the trigger just yet, and we have to remember Santorin did get Rift Herald, so still has about half the time left on that. If you get a kill into the Rift, would be big for FlyQuest, because I think FlyQuest for the most part is going to be pretty happy just kind of farming right now. Their team fight is super, super strong. You know, if Azir scales up, it's easier to kind of execute in team fight on that Azir. You know, Ashe is going to have so much utility with that Crystal Arrow. So a lot of these guys are going to be pretty happy going into that 5v5 where, you know, for Blaber, the squishy Camille diving in, that can be tough. It can be tough for the LeBlanc as well.
One thing I'm noticing looking at this map right now, there are so many more Cloud9 wards than there are FlyQuest wards. You can see that vision being placed in the FlyQuest jungle. You saw some on my way pings there from Cloud9 towards the backside of the enemy red buff as they know it's about to spawn.
Bombs.
JayJ eating some damage from those bombs into the Deadly Flourish, rooting him up as well. Walks away with half HP remaining, gets the Tongue Lash at the end to trade back a little bit, but FlyQuest definitely on the losing end of that.
Oh, the arrow!
Arrow comes through, Zeyzal popping the cleanse to keep himself safe.
That was actually really nice from Zeyzal, stepping forward to absorb that because Sneaky does not have that cleanse, so does trade out his summoner, but keeps his AD alive.
Blaber knows Santorin is here. Saw him place down that ward, his bottom side. The curtain call opens up. JayJ's going to soak the shots here
All
at
coming
the start. Santorin wants to block the fourth one, takes, I think, negative damage as it hits the bone plating.
Yeah, Sejuani passive as well. So strong on those initial shots. The missing HP damage not going to come into effect at all as he was sitting pretty. But again, it's another try, and they're looking for Keane now.
Wants to go after him. Can't quite find the stun there from the hook shot. Wanted to see if maybe he could get a summoner or something at least. Keane, calm, cool, and collected, though.
They go.
Let's see how well this works out as Santorin tries to make the ulti happen down in a sneak. They're looking to burst him down before Zeyzal's able to find the ulti. Won't be able to do it in time. JayJ's taking low. The bomb going to come through on this one. JayJ needs to stay safe. As Sneaky will find the kill onto the FlyQuest support. Going to be kept alive for now. Santorin looking to find the damage. Does take him down. Now going to be underneath the turret flame. Looking to find the slicing maelstrom onto 3. Instead gets popped. A double kill over to Blaber.
And Cloud9 gets so much on the bottom side of the map. Jensen, a huge difference maker as he roams down and just deletes Flame. Keane is left pushing mid lane, but Cloud9 are going to win very big off that. They're going to get the bottom lane turret. They're going to get the dragon, and they win 3 kills for 1 and open up a big gold lead.
FlyQuest really wanted Sneaky there, and I mean, yeah, you got him, but at what cost? That was just a tragedy for them, and Cloud9 could really start to run away with this now. Let's take another look.
The engage, you know, was looking pretty good, but unfortunately not able to actually catch that ultimate as Zeyzal did get out of there, and then Sneaky kind of getting back towards Zeyzal, and JayJ stays around at just too low. So Sneaky comes back up, he has his 4th shot, gets the kill, requires Santorin to flash in under the turret. Meanwhile, Blaber kills off Turtle. Flame looks for the ultimate, but look at that damage coming out of Jensen. As now you see him, now you don't.
See, AP Kennen has this thing where he builds Zhonya's, and it's really effective because you can go into the fight and not die even though you're really squishy. But before that Zhonya's comes online, you get moments like that where...
And he went the most aggressive build possible basically here. He went for double spell pen with the Oblivion Orb Stork boots. This is so much upfront damage. So if he really can get in the middle and the team is there supporting him at that same time, he's going to be doing so much. But in this case, they kite away, they make space, and he just got exploded.
FlyQuest will strike back now, trying to take down their first turret of the game. Cloud9 already has 2, so this will be FlyQuest's first objective. That going their way puts a little bit more gold in their pockets, but it's still a 4,000 gold lead for Cloud9, Azael, and this is why this team is on a 7-game hot streak. This is why this team is the hottest team in the NALCS right now, because it's just started working and it never stopped.
It really has, and they could look for another play here. Licorice has the ultimate. He's going to go for it.
Sound the Ornn horn. Here comes the Ram, and there goes WildTurtle. JJ's nearly taken down. The thick skin's only going to prolong the inevitable. A double kill for Jensen is another win for Cloud9.
Jensen's distortion there was just picture perfect. He catches both Turtle and JJ with the same distortion on the very edge of both sides there, getting 2 more kills. He is up a ton of farm. He is roaming everywhere, and Jensen is showing you how it is done from the mid lane.
On this pick that caught FlyQuest by surprise, and he is making sure he gets the most of that element here today.
This is what you want out of a red side game. You want that big counter pick. You want that play. Now watch the distortion here. It's a great engage from Licorice. The distortion catches both members on the very edge. Oh my God, Turtle just gets exploded. JJ has no chance to get out as Jensen already had the chain locked in, and he is off to the races. This is a very, very strong LeBlanc. Keane's gonna go back to base, which means the turret is gonna get really low here, and C9 are just in full control.
Jensen putting shot after shot into that mid lane turret now as well. It's the last tier 1 standing on the side of FlyQuest. They will move Turtle and JJ up in time to protect it. But ever since that fight bottom lane, that seemed to just completely wash away any control they had over this game. Yeah, Cloud9 was ahead before that, but they weren't stunningly ahead.
Yeah, and I mean, the thing is, it's so tough, right? Because now they're down in turrets, they're down in kills, and look at the farm. 40 CS in the bottom lane, 30 plus CS in the mid lane. Jungle is almost a 40 CS differential as well. And top lane is not really that big of an edge because this is not an AD Kennen. He's building more for the team fight. So it's really, really getting tough for FlyQuest now as that gold lead expands and expands. C9 looking to take full vision control, attacking the buffs, attacking the extra resources here that FlyQuest has, and looking to keep that pressure up.
I like this from Cloud9. That's exactly what you want to see. I don't want to see a team get some outer turrets, get a 5,000 gold lead, and then sit on it until Baron spawns, move up into enemy territory, choke them out of the game, and put Keane in a really bad spot. Santorin just gets completely juked as Cloud9 will now see if they can find anything else. Blaber issues the Hextech ultimatum. Can't really find a whole lot from that one, but now Cloud9's got everybody here in the mid lane.
Yeah, Jensen gets Keane's flash, he gets Santorin's ultimate, and just makes him look silly there, distorting back out of the Sejuani. Alton, he is just really feeling it, in full control of this game.
The LeBlanc dream.
It's been a while since I feel like we've seen these kind of mid-lane carry performances, this level of dominance. There's been so much in this meta of Oriannas and Zileans and these sorts of champions farming it out. This is just domination with a counter pick, and this is the red side dream.
This is the red side dream, and I feel like this is the Jensen dream. Yeah. This is what you expect from him as a player. You see Jensen, and you don't necessarily think something super supportive, something that's an enabler. You don't think Zileans and Lulus and Gallios. You think LeBlancs. You think big playmakers. You think this guy that's going to put the team on his back, and so far, he's been hitting the gym. Those back muscles are big.
He's looking buff, and I mean, it makes it so hard when you're thinking about preparing for this team. If Cloud9 were to win, they would making it straight to the semifinals. They would have that bye, and then they have shown a lot of different looks. They've shown Licorice on carries, slamming up in the top lane. They have shown jhin and Quinn in the bottom lane, things that not a lot of other marksmen are playing. Now they are showing things like the Kindred Zilean combo in the mid lane, supportive things in the mid lane like Lulu. Now Assassins coming out. How do you really effectively do picks and bans when they can flex everything everywhere and it feels like play all the styles?
Okay, guys, we got 5 bans. All right, well, how many champions can they play? 140. All right. All right, let's start from somewhere. A little bit hard of a challenge to tackle, but right now, FlyQuest has to find a way to stabilize this. They've got to staunch this bleeding. It's a 6,000 gold lead, 21 minutes into the match. And it just seems like Cloud9 is doing no wrong so far. Mountain Drake number 2, spawning in about 10 seconds. FlyQuest will hang around, but Cloud9's the ones in control.
They really are, and I think they've made some very intelligent item choices. You can see Mikhail's rush here from Zeyzal, so he wants to stand in the back, be able to instantly Mikhail's the Sejuani ultimate or the Ashe ultimate, have a revive for anyone else if they get picked. you can see that the Sterix here from Blaber means I want to team fight. It's not the Triforce that is more about, you know, the 1v1 or the side lane type of pressure. This is a tankier style. This is allowing him to be more aggressive when they are playing from ahead, and I love the choices.
Yeah, I think that's fantastic coming out from Blaber, because when you look at your carries, when you look at what Sneaky and Jensen can do, you don't need to have the extra damage.
Jensen can one-shot him. You don't need any more than that.
Speaking of getting one-shot here, Flame is going to keep himself alive with the Zhonya's effect. JayJ taken very low now as Sneaky waits for the 4th shot. It would have been right on the money. JayJ now still in some trouble. Jensen still going off this game. A rampage for the LeBlanc as Cloud9 will go 1 for 0 in that fight. They also get that stopwatch out of Flame, so no more stasis until he upgrades that into the full-on Zhonya's Hourglass, and that's another objective going the way of Cloud9.
I mean, it was well played by Flame to survive, but it's him using his flash, his ultimate, and his stasis defensively to try to retreat. So great, he gets out, but that is really all the playmaking ability gone off of that Kennen, so C9's not going to have to worry too much about him for quite some time. They get another dragon, and now it is double mountain on this damage-heavy team with Baron on the map, and you have to be terrified of that from FlyQuest. They're just straight onto it, and if they don't hawkshot this soon as they do
all right, there's your hawkshot, but can they collapse in time? Baron's already taken down below half HP. Zeyzal's going to be running some interference, throwing 2 bombs down into the same spot. FlyQuest still looking to come in on this one. Zeyzal's taken low. Santorin into the front line, going to be stasis up. Blaber secures Baron for the side of Cloud9, but now how many guys can they get out of this pit? It looks like it's 5. Good Lord, man.
FlyQuest not able to get anyone there. C9 just on fire, making call after call after call. They have the double mountain that gives them the confidence to just straight up rush down that Baron. With Zeyzal running interference, he has the cleanse, he has the Mikhails. If he gets hit, he cleanses. If someone else gets hit, he Mikhails. He keeps them all safe. And this is the exact type of form you want to see from a team going into playoffs. I mean, you talk about confidence. This team looks confident. They look prepared. They look incredibly good moving into these NALCS playoffs. And I think anyone who's looking to be potentially matching up against them has to give a lot of respect over to them, because not only are they going to be potentially earning a bye, their record does not demonstrate how good this team is right now. I mean, this will be 8 straight wins.
This is a team that looks like their biggest concern is the fact that they can't get any more wins next weekend, because they'll be skipping quarterfinals to go straight to semifinals if they keep this pace up. This has been an absolutely incredible second half of the split for this team that, quite honestly, had the shakiest start to a split that I think we've ever seen from them. Fans were doubting, people were worried, they were saying, what the hell is going on with all these roster swaps? What is going on with this team? This is going on with this team. What a bounce back, what a winning streak, what a performance from Cloud9 as they now find themselves just shy of 10,000 gold ahead of the other team that they are tied for at second.
Yeah, and I mean, FlyQuest, it's so early in the game, right? They're down almost 10K, and it's 24 minutes in. This is not a 10,000 gold lead at 40 or 50 minutes. This is an absurd advantage that Cloud9 has created for themselves, and it's going to be really hard for FlyQuest. For them to come back, it's all about playmaking. You need that big skirmish shuffle. You need that flank from Kennen who gets an ultimate on 5. You need that sort of miracle play. There is no way you win front to back, regardless of what your comp is, when you're this far behind this early.
Right. And with a 10,000 gold lead at 24 minutes, like you said, you pretty much need all of those at the exact same time. This isn't, okay, maybe a shuffle, maybe a Kennen ultimate, get one of those in there.
Gauge.
Everything has to come together. The entire puzzle, all the pieces at the same time here. Cloud9 will likely just force their way into the base here of FlyQuest. They do have 2 of these lanes pushing up towards those inhibitor turrets. Both still above half HP for now, as Blaber just hovers between the 2 lanes, ready to make that play over the wall with the hook shot.
And this would be an opportunity for them, because FlyQuest, they're down 10K, but about 7,000 that is sitting on C9 unspent. So this may be, one of their only chances to really find that engage. Looks like they're making the call to perhaps just give up the inhibitor, though, and try to play for late. Try to depend on the Azir scaling and hope that you can make this game last another 10, 20 minutes.
Ooh, they're going to be hard-pressed to do that even at this point. Curtain call opens up. JayJ soaking the shots for now. 4th one comes through, finds its way onto him. Ornn also going to sound off. Hextech ultimatum finds a mark. Jurek goes down. Turtle and the rest of FlyQuest having to retreat now. Flame looking to go in, find something, but it will be nothing. Zilean ultimate expended to make sure Blaber's able to walk away from that one. It will not even be procced, but Cloud9 still get inhibitor number 2.
Yeah, both inhibitor turrets, both inhibitors down. They have a top wave pushing in as well, so Cloud9 could potentially even get another turret on the exit. Blaber, don't die to those wolves, bud.
He's got the smite. He's got the smite.
It's
Don't
all
worry.
under control.
No shame death to the wolves just yet.
Yeah. But they are going to back up. They are going to reset, and they are going to be so rich when they do it. Now, this is about 10,000 gold in their pockets for them to spend. So pretty insane buys going to be coming through here as the Cloud9 members recall. You can see the IE completed up there for Sneaky Redemption and for Zeyzal. So many power spikes. The Morellonomicon done for Jensen. You know, building towards a locket there for Licorice. So these guys are just so ridiculously strong. GA plus Sterix, that screams team fighting for Blaber. They're just too far ahead.
5,611 gold off of that Baron play
Ouch.
that Cloud9 made that FlyQuest could not do anything about. So many times we see the Baron dance. So many times we see teams struggle to make the call. Okay, go for it now. This is the right time. Cloud9 did it perfectly. They got huge results from it afterwards. And all that's left now is taking down this final lane.
Yeah, it's going to be really tough here for FlyQuest. They're trying to hang on. They're trying to fight for that playoff bye. But it's looking very unlikely now as Cloud9 are closing in on that appearance. And this would be the first time they've made it to finals weekend since spring of 2017. It's been a while here for Cloud9. So they really want to get back to that stage. They want to be, you know, establishing themselves once again as a dominant organization in this new era with these new players. All these bright, shining stars kind of coming up. Zeyzal, Blaber, Licorice, young North American players who are looking so good, so promising on this Cloud9 kind of gives you hope for their future.
Yeah, it goes back to what we were talking about. There were so many questions from the fans, from people all around saying, is this going to work out? Is this the right move? Should Cloud9 be swapping players around like this? And now that they've found this roster, that they've found Licorice and Blaber and Zeyzal working together like this, it just seems like the answer was yes. It took some time. It took some rough times. But now, those times have seemingly passed, and this squad is just dismantling FlyQuest. Underneath the turret they go. Blaber gives him the uppercut kick, and with Turtle out of the picture, Cloud9 will likely close it out here and now. We'll see how patiently they want to go about doing that. They will turn their attention up towards the third and final inhibitor turret, take that one down. Licorice will just frontline against those Shuriman soldiers as that top lane inhibitor goes bye-bye, and we'll see the pressure now turn over to the next. Nice! 3-man stun! The damage comes through, the shuffle is nothing, and the damage onto Santorin is enough to kill him on the steps to the fountain. Cloud9, what an incredible showing here up against FlyQuest. They'll take the Nexus, they'll take the bye, and they are taking the NALCS by storm.
What a game there from Cloud9. Just absolute dominance from them across the map. Jensen putting on an absolute clinic here on the LeBlanc. 6-0-3, dominant in lane, making the roams happen, taking over in team fights. And this is a team that looks like they are of the caliber that could win a championship. They can challenge for that title and really look to put another banner up there. And it's been a long time for Cloud9. It's been a long time coming for those fans who have supported this team and are looking for that level of success.
This looks like a team that you want to avoid going into playoffs. We always talk about getting to playoffs. That's the topic of conversation right now, but once you're there, you've still got to win. And Cloud9 is looking like a team to beat if you want to have any sort of a chance, because how do you beat someone that's now won 8 times in a row? How do you beat this team that shows the ability to use a 7-man roster, swap people out, find success with it time and time again? I just cannot stop applauding how amazing the turnaround for this team has been in the second half of this.
And the drafting was fantastic today. So many clever swaps. They're being able to kind of flex those picks around the map. Camille moving to jungle. You have the Zilean moving to support for the counter pick there for Jensen on LeBlanc. A lot of very intelligent drafting, a lot of clever choices, good itemization. Really everything is is looking very, very good for Cloud9, but you still have to give a tip of the hat to FlyQuest. They've had a very strong season. They are locked into playoffs. They did not get their bye, but the improvements for FlyQuest have come in leaps and bounds, and that's something they could be very proud of.
And again, this is a team, like you mentioned earlier, that a lot of people predicted to be at the bottom of the standings coming into this split. And the fact that they were fighting for a bye, even if you don't win that fight,
one game away.
The fact that you were in the ring for that fight, still incredibly impressive. But now for more on the Cloud9 win, let's go ahead and hand things off to the analyst desk.
Thank you very much, gentlemen. Cloud9 from 3-7 to 11-7, an 8-game winning streak to close out the split, and they snag that playoff bye.
So impressive.
Second place in the regular split.
And I'm just excited for like what that means for the rest of the league. Because,
What does that mean for the rest of the league?
Well, for one, I feel like you actually do have your first and second place best teams in the league with the buys. And that's something that, you know, based off the recent streak, we would have said. And I think every team is now happy that C9 has the bye because that means they don't bump into them in quarters. So it's a weird thing where I think everyone is actually happy about this.
I agree. And because you look at the way they're winning as well, that was a tank performance from a guy who's been a GP or a Fiora player earlier on in the split. The Camille jungle, the Zilean support now.
Right, now we got a flex pick on the Zilean. Let's take a look at this draft put together by Reaper.
Yeah, the tank pick you're talking about is really funny because in Academy, his first split, Licorice spammed Maokai when he was broken, and they played through their jungle in mid a lot, and we were all saying, oh, he's a tank player. And then their coaching staff talked to us, and they're like, we're pretty sure he's a carry player, actually. We just stick him on tank. And now, a year and a half later, here we are like, oh my God, he's playing a tank.
And now he's a well-rounded player.
Yeah, now he's just a fantastic player, and I think everything else they did in the draft was really smart as well. You heard the casters talking about actually using red side to flex and get counter picks, which then got them big CS leads.
You know, we had seen a Zilean support prior in the NALCS, and we had some concerns around the pairing of ADC and the lanes that it was being played into. This time around, though, a much more effective pick in that 2v2.
This felt like a very good lane matchup in actually all of their lanes because of the way they utilize the flex picks.
Right.
But having the Zilean to speed up the Jhin, who has very clear windows of power where he will win trades in those windows, is great, especially when the other team doesn't have the best ways to avoid it. Sure, Tahm Kench could just eat Ashe, but then if you're charging at the right moment, you're denying cannon minions, you're getting wave priority. It's a really good duo lane in that situation.
Specifically, if you have your fourth shot and your Q up, you get sped up and the Ashe doesn't want to take that.
You're going to out-trade that Ashe every single time, and she's much less mobile than, say, an Ezreal is. We are going to hear from some of the C9 players in just a moment. Before we do, let's take a look at some replays. This one down in the bot lane, 4-for-1 in favor of Cloud9.
And the game was still a little close at this point, though C9 did have a pretty good lead, but this was kind of the play that broke the game open. FlyQuest, good try, trying to find a pickoff, but Sneaky is able to stay alive long enough with the help of Zeyzal that it forces the commitment out of the rest of FlyQuest to get that cleanup kill, and then everyone else just gets exploded. Instantly, it's a 4-for-1.
Yeah, and that was, I thought Zeyzal Zilean had a lot of control in these games. Bringing cleanse on the Zilean, sometimes he was stepping in front of Ashe arrows, cleansing. Timing his ultimate is very difficult on the support Zilean compared to the mage Zilean, where you're really kind of ultimate speed and your bombs are very much utility focused. But there's a reason not many people play it, even though it looks so good in these instances, because it's really, really hard.
Now, that was one of the skirmishes where Cloud9 as a team really did build their lead. Having a 4-for-1 kind of started that snowball. But I want to take a look at a couple instances or more micro interactions here. In particular, we're looking at Blaber.
Yeah, pay attention to Blaber and think about what communication could be like in order to make these decisions. This one you could say, okay, maybe get him, but like Jensen ignites, and then Blaber closes about half the map, seemingly, to get that first blood. That's one. But this is the one that jumped out to me, even though it didn't necessarily get the biggest results. Like, Blaber is just kind of merrily on the Drake, and the instant Licorice sees Flame, Blaber flash ults. And to me, that's not a communication thing, that's an instinct thing. And I feel like Blaber, I'd love to get some Cloud9 like confirmation on this. I feel like he just kind of does whatever he feels like.
Looking at you guys across the studio on the couches, we're going to hear from you in a moment.
And the rest of Cloud9 follows, because these things I feel like are actually too fast to be communicated, and he's just doing it off of instinct.
And getting players with the same play style that can work off each other is very important for that reason, because if you're playing off instinct, you can't have guys who want to like min-max every decision, because you have to take the risks that come with that play style. Like, you could be jumping on top of people and have more people in that brush.
There could be 4 people there, right? But he's just going to do it.
Even in that first clip, one of two good things happened. Either Jensen and Blaber did communicate in that moment that, hey, with my ignite and the poke, I can now flash in and secure the kill, or they're just two aggressive players who have the instincts to know that we do have the damage and to just execute on it without speaking. Either way, it's a good interaction, a good relationship to have between those players.
It is, and it can backfire, like the top lane gank in this game, where he flashed off the Kennen, didn't land the hookshot stun, and died under turret.
Right, but I'll take 9 good plays for everyone.
If that's the ratio,
right? If that's the ratio.
Yeah. Probably a little lower, but
the way
point.
Cloud9's playing right now, it kind of seems like
10.
it's 9 good to 1 bad. We spent this whole segment talking about Cloud9. We can't forget that FlyQuest is still very much in the running for for playoffs or in that playoff picture already, and they will find themselves in a tiebreak tomorrow to determine seeding. With that, though, we're going to hear from Avli, who's standing by with both Sneaky and Jensen.
Thanks, guys. I am here with both Sneaky and Jensen. Guys, congratulations on the win. But Jensen, first thing, Jad asked it, you can't ignore him. When Blaber went ahead and flashed in and you guys were working together, was it instinct? Was it coordination or what?
Wait, are you talking about the first gank?
I believe the first gank was... Yes! First gank.
Yeah, it kind of just happened like instinctively. I had no idea Sejuani was going to be there, and he was around mid, so I think we're just two really aggressive players, and then that's kind of just how it went down there, at least.
Yeah, Blaber really likes killing people.
Sometimes himself as well, yeah.
Jeez. Well, okay, well, tell me about his addition to the team, since you guys came on with him.
Well, the first thing I noticed was just his confidence about the game when I was playing with him in Academy, because when I first initially got put there, like I was playing with him and then Smoothie and then Zeyzal came over to Academy. So I got a lot of experience, and Jensen was with me too. So we just got to like see how he was playing, and there was a lot of things that we were missing from like the original 5 from Spring that Blaber and Zeyzal like both brought together that we were able to pick up from. And it's like an aura of confidence around him. Like it's not necessarily that he's shot calling, but he's just able to make these plays that he knows he can go for.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing about Blaber is he's just a really aggressive player, and I think that was kind of what we lacked in the past. Like, we were kind of like scared, always trying to play it as safe as possible, but Blaber, he's like the kind of player that whenever he sees a chance, he's just going to go in for it.
And I'd like to touch a little bit on your guys' time in Academy, because you guys were basically brought in mid-split to kind of save the team with the playoff run. Starting with basically from the time that you guys were benched and moving all the way into securing second seed today, what was the entire experience like for you, Sneaky?
I mean, it's for sure really odd for me, I guess, initially, because I'd never been benched before. And it was definitely like a wake-up call for me and Jensen, I'd say. Like, we're able to look really hard for the things that we were lacking in Academy, and that the whole team, like the whole 10 players, were able to just improve a lot by making the switch. So, yeah, it was just a lot of building synergy between players as well. Like, no matter who the player was, like, we were able to understand the game better.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of just agree with Sneaky. Like, it was just sort of like a wake-up call, and then we were kind of told like the stuff we had to improve on, and then I think we just kind of took it from there and tried to do the best we possibly could.
And you guys have found what basically looks like a magical combination of players. So besides Blaber, what is really the true strength of this roster?
I mean, I play in it, so it's hard to really say. I mean, I think our synergy is pretty insane. We're all pretty much on the same page, and it's gotten down to a point where we're not having to like make specific calls about what we want to do. It's kind of just like we can just say where the enemy is, and then whenever we know this is a good play because we know where the enemies are, we can just go for it, and we're all like completely on the same page with how we should snowball games. Like, we win a fight, it's like super obvious to us. Like, yeah, let's go Baron. Oh, let's in the game. Like yesterday, we just killed them all like 33 minutes. Oh, I guess the game's over.
And yesterday I spoke with Reapered, who basically said that this split he had to rethink his entire coaching style and change it. So Jensen, what's it been like working with him?
It's been good. I think this split has definitely been different from all the other splits, because I think even in the other splits we've had like really good starts to the season, but then we'd always like fall short towards the end. And I think this split we really made sure that we had all the basics on point, so there wouldn't really be any like scenarios where it's like, well, I had no idea how to play the game here. So I think we're just all on the same page, and we all know how to play our roles, like, I wouldn't say perfectly, but pretty well now.
So with this game, you guys did secure that first round bye as well as an extra week of practice. So how important is that to you?
Oh, well, actually, I started off with an extra week of practice before I actually came onto the LCS to split. So it's definitely really helpful. You can just figure out what's the best. There's going to be a new patch for playoffs. There's not that many changes, but there's some like nerfs to the damage runes, and we can just figure out a bunch of stuff, and then a little bit of scouting of our opponents playing in the first round.
And Jensen, how are you going to use the week?
I'm just gonna try to relax as much as possible, and yeah.
Now, you bring up relaxation, and I say this question a little half-jokingly, but I've noticed that a lot of LCS players, your team included, has been going hard on WoW. Do you think that at all this will affect playoff performance?
I think that's why we're playing better.
Dash yelled, what's your item level?
I think it's like 330-ish right now.
Great.
Wow.
Well, guys, best of luck to you and congratulations again. For everyone else, we've got Game 5 just around the corner. It's TSM looking to take down Team Liquid, and you won't want to miss it.